Do you know that so many people in relationships are missing one of the most amazing aspects of being in love and having partnership? And that's sacred sexuality. So many times, especially in today's world where that sex is everywhere, you know, it's on TV, radio, billboards, magazines, we're killed with that message of sexuality and sex. And we're missing the sacred part of it. If you go back thousands of years in the Eastern tradition of Tantra, of the concept of slowing down and looking at sex between two people as this amazing opportunity for divine union, we would think because it's been around that long that everyone knows about it, but we don't. In my coaching work for the past 20 years working with couples, I'm always amazed when people come in and they're saying we've been together for 6 months or for a year or 10 years or 20 years and our desire to be intimate has diminished greatly. And I say, what part of your relationship is sacred? What part of the sexual relationship that you have is sacred? They look at me like I have 7 eyes. You know, it's like, what do you mean sacred? We married each other or we've committed each other for years, but what do you mean sacredness in regards to the bedroom? And I know today, in today's fast-paced world, in today's multitasking world, in today's never slow down world, that this is a huge missing ingredient in relationships. But if you are willing to take a few minutes and watch this video and share it with your lover, share it with your family, share it with your friends, we'll get the message out that sex should be sacred. That there's ways to slow down and make it more beautiful, more divine than you could have ever imagined. You know, instead of just coming into to be together to reach that end result, the orgasm, and then go to sleep, instead of that, there are so many ways that we can make it more sacred, more special. And I'm going to share just a couple of them, and in future videos, we'll get into them in more detail. The number one way that you can make your relationship, your sexuality more sacred is via contact with the eyes. Is to look at your partner in the eyes and for them to look back at you and just to gaze. Now, we're not talking about the aspect of intercourse right now. We're just talking about while you're going to be, when you know that you're going to be intimate, is to begin with contact with the eyes. With many couples I've worked with, this has been a very difficult task, quite frankly. They aren't used to connecting with the eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul, which means that you have to be very open and very vulnerable and very loving to be able to look into your partner's eyes for any length of time. Oftentimes, I'll have couples start with 15 seconds. That's it. And if that's uncomfortable, 5 seconds of staring into each other's eyes. And then we increase it. Every session we're together, we start to increase it until we get up to 2 or 3 minutes, which can seem like a lifetime. 2 or 3 minutes of gazing into your partner's eyes while you hold them can seem like a lifetime. But it's the beginning of creating sacred sexuality, sacred intimacy. From that exercise, to make this whole concept more sacred, is we go into the touch, into sacred touch. So we have sacred eye contact, and then we go into touch where that you actually slow down and feel your partner's body. It's like you're adoring them, you're cherishing them, you're honoring their body through touch. It's very slow, it's very conscious. And it's not just touching erogenous zones, it's touching the full body. So there are times when I'll give the couples exercises where they'll go home and one of them has to lay on their back naked on the bed, and this is after the 2 to 3 minutes of eye contact, and then the only exercise, and there's no intercourse, there's no sexuality other than this, is to just touch the partner's body. It's just to lightly drag their fingers across their partner's body from the top of their head all the way down to their toes. And then next we go into massaging the scalp. I mean, this is a very sensual zone, a very erogenous zone is the scalp. And so as you gaze into your partner's eyes, we're bringing the sacredness into it and just massaging each other's scalp, which elicits all kinds of responses, physiological responses from the body. Chemicals are thrown into the bloodstream when you do massage of the scalp. It's unbelievable. Now, these are just a few of the things that we talk about in regards to sacred sexuality, but I think you're getting the hint here. The hint is we're slowing it all down. When you have eye contact, you are connecting with the divine within. You're connecting with the God within. When you're able to have eye contact unbroken, and I recommend that couples choose one eye or the other to stare into. In other words, if you're looking at both eyes, you're going to be going back and forth like this, and you'll drive each other nuts. So don't do that. Choose one eye and just gaze into it. And then while you have that gaze, feel their body. And while you have that gaze, massage the scalp. And this is the sacredness. And as you continue that gazing back and forth, you're actually creating a sacred, intimate sexuality. You're honoring the divine within. From there, you can go into the sacred kiss, where you're slowing down the kiss. And we'll cover more in a later video, but I just want you to get into the idea of sacred sexuality. It's honoring the divine within. It's welcoming the divine within. It's having this most unbelievable connection with your partner. Doesn't matter if it's 6 months or 60 years, you can radically shift the relationship, the intimacy, the sexuality by looking at this concept of sacred sexuality. If you have more questions on it, I do workshops. I work with people one-on-one, couples together. Contact me through talkdavid.com. Let's slow it down. Let's bring the God, the divinity back into sexuality so that we can all live a healthier, happier life. I'm David Essel. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon.